Mr. Deputy Speaker, I thank the 14 members for their support of the bill, and I learned many different things. Members' love for their pets and animals, including caramel yellow, and also about fish cosmetic surgery, including eye lifts and chin jobs. Please allow me to address members' comments via 4 broad themes. The first theme is on representation of the Veterinary Council. Now, the Veterinary Council will perform an essential role to regulate our vet sector. Its primary duty is to register vets, set and maintain high standards for the practice of veterinary medicine in Singapore, and appoint necessary bodies for disciplinary proceedings to safeguard animal health and welfare, as well as the public interest. In that regard, I agree with Dr. Chu Pei Ling that council members should have the right mix of expertise to fairly and adequately represent the vet sector and to set the high standards that is expected of the vet sector. And this is why the bill provides for the minister to appoint a balanced composition of members. I shared earlier that the council may include ex-officio members from the public and private sectors. In this regard, and to respond to Mr. Kenneth Tiong's question, the council must also comprise at least 4 other vets, including one with at least 10 cumulative years of experience as a vet, which may include the duration licensed by AVS or registered with the council. Considering public feedback that we've received through the consultation process, we intend to also appoint suitably experienced vets from diverse areas of the vet sector. Now, this will allow us to strengthen the development of professional standards that enhance and advance the vet sector. On Mr. David Ho and Mr. Melvin Yong's queries, the bill provides that the council must comprise at least 2 laypersons who are non-vets. Now, we intend to nominate legal professionals from the start, because this helps provide wider perspectives and ensure the reflection of broader public interest in the council's work. There will also be government oversight of key aspects of the council for alignment and public interest and accountability, and I will elaborate on these later. Now, over time, we will review the Veterinary Council's operating needs and adjust its composition accordingly. This may include appointing other vet professionals, such as vet nurses, further down the road. Now, the council may also appoint committees. This could include key representatives of animal groups to share feedback with the council, as Mr. Henry Kwek and Mr. James Lim suggested. The second theme of questions surround the new registration and practising certificate framework, PC framework, which Mr. Tsai Ying-zhong, Ms. Li Hui-ying, and Dr. Chu Pei Ling raised questions on. Now, every vet that practices veterinary medicine must be registered with the council and have a valid PC. The bill defines the practice of veterinary medicine, which can only be performed by duly qualified vets. The bill also introduces a new specialist registration, which is not part of the existing licensing framework for vets under the ABA. But in line with feedback that we received from the vet sector, the council intends to recognize specialist vets primarily based on postgraduate degrees or qualifications, and will publish the requirements on its website when ready. So we will start with this new 3-tiered registration framework and then monitor its effectiveness. We are also open to exploring other approaches to further recognize, as well as to differentiate vets where necessary. Now, with regards to Ms. Diana Pang's suggestion, the bill will not require vets to declare their pro bono hours as part of the PC renewal requirements. But we appreciate that vets regularly volunteer their time and efforts, such as in sterilization and microchipping drives, on a pro bono basis, and we will explore other ways to recognize their goodwill and their generosity. Mr. Lee Hong Chuang, Dr. Chu Pei Ling, Ms. Diana Pang, Mr. David Ho, Dr. Hamid Razak, Mr. Melvin Yong, and others had also raised questions about the veterinary workforce. Now, I shared earlier that the council will continue to implement continuing professional education requirements for vets to renew their PC, to equip them with up-to-date knowledge, skills, and experience. AVS also provides scholarships and study grants for students to pursue vet programs and contribute to our pipeline of vet professionals. Beyond this, AVS and the Council will partner stakeholders such as MOE and the Institutes of Higher Learning to strengthen veterinary-related formal education programs or training provided locally, including those that may allow mid-career entrance into the sector. And our review also includes manpower projections and resource requirements to study the need and feasibility of a local vet degree program. Ms. Li Hui-ying also asked about occupational support. Now, while the Protection from Harassment Act protects all individuals, including vets, from harassment, AVS will also work with the Council to explore other initiatives to improve workplace practices and professional development opportunities to better support our vets. We also intend to eventually extend registration to other vet professionals, such as vet nurses. While they are not currently licensed by AVS today, we will continue to engage our vet sector before developing the regulatory framework for them. And in line with Mr. Henry Kwek and Mr. Ip Hon Wing's suggestions, we will also monitor the impact of the enhanced set of regulations to vets. We will update on the registration timeline for other vet professionals when we are ready. Meanwhile, the bill will clarify the scope of vet activities and circumstances where non-vets may perform them. For instance, vet nurses will be allowed to perform certain vet activities under supervision by a duly qualified vet and in accordance with any prescribed conditions. This requirement to be supervised is already in place today. The Council will also publish guidelines before the commencement of the relevant provisions next year, setting out the broad principles of the appropriate supervision. To Mr. Muhaimin Malik's questions, we share your concerns about community animals and their caregivers. I have many of them in my constituency as well. And to our community caregivers, please continue to care for your animals as you already do, but please also exercise judgment when you need to refer them or to bring them to a vet. The third theme of questions that members have raised relate to penalties and disciplinary proceedings provisions as prescribed by the bill. First, Mr. David Ho asked how penalties under the bill were derived. Compared to what is provided for under the ABA, this bill raises the maximum fine for offences relating to unlawful practice of vet medicine or misrepresentation as a vet from $10,000 to $50,000. Now, this is to provide sufficient deterrence against profit-driven motives. There is no change to the existing 12 months maximum imprisonment term. And the $50,000 fine quantum is benchmarked against the human healthcare sector, including the dental and allied healthcare professions. AVS will continue to regulate animal health and welfare, and offences involving animal welfare and cruelty will continue to be dealt with under the ABA. As members know, and I have said that in public and in this House, we are reviewing the penalties for animal welfare offences and the licensing regime for pet sector activities, including pet grooming businesses under the ABA, and we will share more when ready. Second, we have established a robust disciplinary framework, including a range of disciplinary orders that may be imposed on errant vets to strengthen deterrence against professional misconduct. I shared earlier how the bill establishes clear escalation thresholds in handling complaints and how the various committees can make orders to deal with professional misconduct. To Mr. Ip Hon Wing's question about the completion timeline for the disciplinary inquiry, clauses 48 and 54 provide that the Complaints Assessment Committee, CAC, and the Disciplinary Committee, DC, must complete its inquiry by 3 months and 6 months, respectively. This is unless the Council, on application by the CAC or DC, allows otherwise. To Mr. Muhaimin Malik's questions about resourcing for enforcement, NParks currently undertakes the enforcement of the existing vet licensing framework and will continue to support the VC as we transition to the new framework. We also wish to assure Mr. James Lim that NParks has strict protocols around evidence gathering and investigations and works with other agencies where practical and necessary to gather information to support its investigations. Third, Ms. Diana Pang asked why there is no requirement for a legal professional to be in the IOC or the Interim Orders Committee. Allow me to explain. Where necessary, legal professionals can be appointed to the IOC, as clauses 4 and 39, respectively, provide for laypersons such as legal professionals to be represented in the council and the complaints panel. Clause 65 also provides for the council to appoint an advocate and solicitor to prosecute the disciplinary case or to advise the IOC on any legal matter relating to the inquiry or review. There are also safeguards for vets before the IOC. Before the council appoints any independent expert, it must give the registered vet concerned an opportunity for him or her to make representations on the proposed appointment. Now, the vet may also appeal to the General Division of the High Court against the IOC's decision. And all interim orders are also subject to periodic review to ensure no order remains in force longer than is necessary. Mr. Henry Quek asked if the enhanced disciplinary proceedings could result in the sector become overly litigious and if vets may feel pressured to adopt defensive practices to protect themselves. Now, the bill addresses this concern. First, while any member of the public may submit a complaint against vets, every complaint must be made in writing and also supported by a statutory declaration. The limitation period for complaints also ensures that cases brought before the council are supported by timely and reliable evidence. Second, there will be clear escalation thresholds in the handling of complaints. The registrar will objectively assess and triage each case and can recommend dismissal of frivolous complaints to the council so vets are not unduly burdened by cases without merit. Now, third, the bill also allows for conciliatory measures such as mediation, as well as voluntary cancellation or suspension of registration where there are concerns on the vet's fitness to practice. These measures, subject to the council's approval, help to address issues through negotiation without defaulting to formal disciplinary proceedings. Sir, the fourth and final theme of questions members have asked relate to safeguards for pet owners. Mr. Henry Quek rightly said that the framework must guard against misuse while preserving confidence and fairness. I agree with him. The council is first and foremost a regulator. Its primary duty is to maintain professional standards and not to promote or advocate the profession's interest. There are thus safeguards and clear lines of accountability back to the government, which will ensure alignment with the broader public interest. Now, the Vet Council President and members are appointed by the Minister, who can also remove members where necessary. The Registrar is also appointed by the Minister and must be a public officer or an officer or employee of a public authority. The Minister's approval must also be sought when the Council makes regulations, such as those relating to qualifications and continuing professional education requirements for registration. I also want to assure Mr. David Ho and Mr. James Lim that the Disciplinary Council, that the disciplinary proceedings likewise incorporate multiple safeguards to mitigate conflict of interest and to ensure impartiality. Let me elaborate further. First, disciplinary proceedings must also include non-vets, such as legal professionals, to provide balanced and objective oversight. Members with conflict of interest must also recuse themselves from proceedings. Second, the bill prohibits certain individuals to review the same case along various stages of proceedings. For instance, the registrar who reviewed and referred the case to the council must not be appointed to a CAC, a DC, or an IOC. A member of the CAC who conducted an inquiry in respect of a disciplinary case must not be appointed as a member or observer of a DC on the same case. Third, aggrieved parties may also appeal to the Minister or the General Division of the High Court. Appeals do not return to the Council and the committees for reconsideration, ensuring that disciplinary decisions are subject to independent review and safeguarding the interests of both vets and the public. Now, this appeal mechanism takes reference from disciplinary framework of the human health care sector, including the dental and allied health professions. Some members have also mentioned about raising awareness. I think Mr. Muhaimin mentioned that earlier. AVS will work with the Council to raise awareness and educate the public on its requirements and processes. This includes information on the Council's webpage, which will contain information such as the vet's class of registration and place of employment. This can help the public identify vets with restricted registration who may only practice in establishments recognized by the Council. Now, the Council will also publish disciplinary findings of key cases when concluded to facilitate awareness and uplift standards within the vet sector and for public education. The Council will also publish a guide to support complainants seeking redress. And this will include steps on how to file a complaint, including how to make a statutory declaration. This guide will also address Ms. Li Huiying and Mr. Yip Hong Weng's queries on when a complainant should file a complaint with the Council or otherwise commence a civil proceeding. A complainant may pursue either or both, as the circumstances warrant it. And this is consistent with how other professional regulatory frameworks in Singapore operate. Ms. Diana Pang asked about the advertising standards for veterinary services, and Mr. Chai Ying-zhou asked about minimum standards for non-conventional therapies. Now, the Code of Ethics for Veterinarians includes advertising standards for veterinary services, such as requiring information to be factual and not comparative. Under the Code, a vet is also responsible for choosing the treatment regimens for his patients based on sound evidence-based science and practice and/or diagnostic test results. Now, this is applicable to non-conventional novel therapies as well. Many members also raised concerns about the affordability of care and transparency of costs. I've heard that as well in my interactions with vets and also the broader public. Now, this code also requires vets to clearly explain treatment options, risks, and costs to obtain consent from owners for the treatment of the animal and avoid unnecessary procedures. Vets should also provide pet owners with an estimate of fees. Now, these standards ensure better pricing transparency and help to build trust between pet owners and vets by promoting professionalism and fairness. And under this bill, while vets will be subject to regulatory requirements, they will be similar to those under today's licensing regime under AVS. Furthermore, provisions are in place to ensure a smooth transition for current practitioners into the new regime. Notwithstanding, AVS will partner the Council to review the Code of Ethics and will study members' suggestions for cost structures to be more transparent, such as to provide itemization of bills and clearer fee disclosures. We are also looking at other measures to address this. This includes listing fees to promote greater transparency, and we will update on the timeline when ready. In addition, there are also pet insurance schemes available in Singapore to help pet owners with the cost of vet services. There are also professional indemnity insurance schemes for vets to cover legal defense and settlement costs arising from allegations of professional negligence or misconduct. We share members' concerns on the need to be mindful of costs to animal owners and are closely monitoring the trends. To Mr. Kenneth Tiong's questions on fees for registration and PCs, we will consider various factors, including current cost trends and the impact on existing practices in determining the prescribed fees. While we understand that many Singaporeans see pets as a member of their family, mine included, and we understand concerns around vet costs, we must also recognize that pet ownership is a personal choice and a long-term commitment that comes with responsibilities. Owners are responsible for providing for their pets' needs, including medical care. So we strongly encourage prospective pet owners to thoroughly consider the full cost of raising a pet before committing to becoming a pet owner. Mr. Speaker, sir, Mr. Deputy Speaker, sir, vet professionals form an important pillar of our animal health and welfare system. Under this bill, there will be fair and adequate representation of the vet sector in the Veterinary Council to drive the refinement of professional services. The Veterinary Council will also be equipped to effectively deal with malpractice to safeguard animal health and welfare. Finally, this bill is intended to benefit the public by raising the professional standards of our vet sector. I seek the House's full support for the bill, and Mr. Speaker, Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to move.
Mr. Kenneth Tiong, do you have a clarification arising out of MOS's speech? Please proceed.
Thank you, sir. Thank the MOS for the assurances of vet representation on the council. So can I just ask the MOS to clarify why vet representation is not codified on a statutory basis, unlike the Medical Registration Act of 1997 and the Dental Registration Act of 1999?
MOS Alvin Tan, would you like to respond?
So we are starting on a new slate, setting up the Veterinary Council, and we've already took dressing with other health care professions, and we will evaluate over time and see whether these are necessary over time.
Any further clarifications? Mr. Henry Quek.
Deputy Speaker, sir, I thank the MOS for this comprehensive response. I would like to check whether MND is open to providing more funding to AVS. 10 years ago, I made a speech on NPARCS, and I noted then that NPARCS' annual budget is less than half of an acute care hospital. And I checked the figures just now, I think it's still around the same. It's basically NPARCS is operating on a very, very lean budget. It's very efficient. I have a lot of respect for NPARCS staff, but they have to handle a lot of things. And now with public expectations and from what we hear from the chambers, this new regulation is a step up. I do hope that the government can provide a bit more resources to AVS to discharge what the public expects of this new regulation regime. Thank you.
MOS Alvin Tan, would you like to respond?
So I thank Mr. Henry Quek for his questions. I think my AVS colleagues will be very encouraged by your appeal. We will resource our AVS and NPARCS colleagues as necessary for them to conduct their important mission. Thank you.
Mr. David Ho, you have a clarification. Please proceed.
I thank the MOS for the response. I'm specifically heartened to hear that we will explore a possible vet local degree. I would like to clarify if MND will be working with MOE to explore the possibility of an ITE pathway in the veterinary sector. Specifically, could we consider a higher NITEC cost that could then feed into the polytechnic diploma related costs?
MOS Alvin Tan, would you like to respond?
So I thank Mr. David Ho for his questions. As I mentioned earlier on, we're looking at manpower projections as well as resource requirements to study a local program, and that we already have programs with some polytechnics as well, and we'll take his suggestion into consideration. So if I may clarify my response to Mr. Kenneth Tiong, in fact, the vet representation on the Vet Council is already codified in the bill. My apologies.
No further clarifications? If that is the case, I'll pose the question. The question is that the bill be now read a second time. Those who agree say aye. Those who disagree say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.
Veterinary Practice Bill.
Committee stage what day?
Now, sir, on behalf of the Minister, I move that Parliament will immediately resolve itself into a committee on the bill.
The question is that Parliament will immediately resolve itself into a committee on the bill. Those who agree say aye. Those who disagree say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. The question is that clauses 1 to 90 stand part of the bill. Those who agree say aye. Those who disagree say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Bill to be reported. Minister for National Development.
Mr. Speaker, on behalf of the Minister for National Development, I report that the bill has been considered in committee and agreed to without amendment.
Third reading, what day?
Now, sir, on behalf of the Minister, I move that the bill be now read a third time.
The question is that the bill be now read a third time. Those who agree say aye. Those who disagree say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it.